Hello, I'm Mark.
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about credits that Tesla gets and the European Union and how that actually works. But first, Moto's going to get in the screen and we're going to roll the title.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us. And we have our new co-host Moto has joined us with Casey. And we got Patrick as normal. And we wanted to talk a little bit today about this article that came into us about the credits that Tesla receives for selling electric vehicles and then collecting credits and giving those credits to other automobile manufacturers that are trying to avoid fines because they don't make enough EVs. And the European Union does this. North America does this. Many do it as a carrot and stick type scenario where they're asking manufacturers to move into EV producing based on a percentage of vehicles sold. And in order not to get the stick, you have to have so many credits racked up over a period of a year. And to make the market even more fair and allow little groups to continue, or at least the thought is, and not pay hefty fines, is that the credits companies receive for EV production can be sold to other automobile manufacturers to help them avoid the cost of fines. So Tesla, again, is going to be able to sell these credits to European automobile manufacturers. And it's kind of interesting that this is nothing new for them. They've been doing this now for years, where they were, in one case earlier in the game, they were the only one that were making EVs, and they make nothing but EVs. So they amass a lot of credits because, of course, none of their vehicles have gasoline at all. So that's what's going on here, and that's why they have so many to sell. And of course, it's contributed to their bottom line too. Not immensely at this point in the game, but in the beginning, it was a hefty amount based on their sales. Now that they're up into the almost 2 million mark per year, this of course matters a little bit less than what it did in the beginning. But when we posted this story on our Twitter feed, which is at the Tesla Life, if you'd like to follow us through the week, we got a response from one person that was throwing out that this is not really helping the European auto industry. And they indicated that this is basically a crutch that the industry gets to rely on so that they don't have to work to get EV vehicles and actually pay the full fine if they don't get it. They're able to buy it from somebody else like Tesla, who, gets money for that. And their argument was that it's not pushing the entire industry forward into a green future. It's just kind of stagnating the number of EVs out there because they don't have to work at their own EV program.
Yeah. I likened it to when you don't teach your kid how to do stuff and you just do it for them. They never learn how to do stuff on their own.
Right. That's
another thing that this was enabling them to do that they should have been weaning themselves off of was it allowed them to still make stuff like trucks or they're the favorite car like the executive saloon and not have to worry about we have to hurry up and stop making our most popular vehicle. You can just make more EVs and then phase it out, but they aren't doing that either.
So I'll take the other side of that argument. So if the car companies paid the fine, that also doesn't advance EVs. So they know that that's the direction that the governments are pushing them in the EU. They know that they have CO2 emissions standards that they have to meet. And so if the EU didn't want this, they would just make those credits non-transferable. And then you either comply or pay the fee. But instead, they've allowed this transferable or pooling or whatever you want to call it, and that allows the manufacturers that are getting the right thing done to get more income, which then you bolster the companies that are doing well and doing right, and you make them more profitable, which allows them to do more of the right thing. So,
But also,
go
if
ahead.
if everybody's doing marginally what they're supposed to be doing, there wouldn't be enough credits to go around because they're using them on their popular car.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever fails doesn't have any to buy, so then they have to pay the tax, and then the tax can be used nominally to continue to force this.
Right. We had a lot of this with compliance cars in the U.S. when the OEMs would do enough to get credits so they could continue to sell their high profit trucks without paying these fees. And
Or like
that's the only
make the cars into trucks.
right. Yes. Yeah. So I mean, whenever you have these rules, you have people who are going to look at them in detail and find ways to game the system. And at least this method is paying EV makers. So there's worse things that they could do here.
Yeah, I think if they made it non-transferable, you're right. I don't think that would help the companies that are doing the right thing. So if there are a number of credits out there and they get gobbled up by companies that don't make enough EVs, yeah, I think the companies that make the EVs should profit from that, because it is reinforcing that you're getting a benefit for making the EVs. You're out early, you're actually doing it, you're producing more of them, and you get to benefit financially. Now, this won't be forever.
No.
We can see the numbers in the European Union as well as other markets. The EV numbers are increasing, and they are increasing yearly. So at some point, this is going to become, not usable for the vast majority. There will be still a few automobile manufacturers that are refusing, maybe low volume manufacturers that are not moving to the EV game, or their vehicles don't lend themselves to be EVs. Maybe they're trucks, maybe they're something that they can't do it with the technology they currently have the ability to use.
Loud hypercars.
Yeah.
But there's two things they can do with this as well. They can keep raising the price of the fine because the reason they're buying it from their competition rather than paying the fine to the government is their competition is selling the credits at a discount. So if the fine is $1,000 per car, Tesla or whoever might sell them to you at $900 per car, or $850, $750. So if they raise the price of the fees and reduce the number of credits available, so instead of getting 1 credit per car, you now get 0.9 credits per car. Round numbers, just ramp that up, but not so much that these guys can't do their 6-year cycles or whatever. Then this will be a self-solving problem.
And I think you out there watching, what do you think? Does this make sense? Do you think that this type of transferable credit should continue? Should the system be changed? Should the system be stopped? Are we getting to a point where once you reach 30%, 35% of the vehicles are being sold are EVs, does this really negate itself and really is not required as a carrot and stick type scenario going forward? Or do you have to get up to where somewhere like you are in Norway, where you're reaching 80, 90% before you would take something like that away? Or is it somewhere in between? Let us know in the comments as to what you think should happen with these type of scenarios, because again, they are happening in all different markets to different varied effect and different varied amounts as well. But I think the system we've currently got here, I think it benefits most that want to move into the EV world, and this is allowing them to have a little extra profit to help pay for that transition and for them being first as opposed to being a laggard and coming in last.
And when you say stop, you mean just stop the transferability, but keep the fees, or because
or maybe the system needs to stop. Like all these things are going to stop, just like incentives stop eventually based on the population and how many people are buying EVs. Eventually, it ends, and this will be another program that will end as well.
Right, but if you stop the stick part of it early, then we'll have folks like Stellantis slide right back where they are right now.
Right,
Mm,
right. Well, maybe the incentive disappears, but the fines still continue.
Yeah.
Right. You might get to pay 70 or 80% on the dollar compared to the fine, but it's got to hurt more paying your competition
Yes.
than it does paying
Or they can
the fine.
you, yeah.
Right. Yeah. 30% discount, but 100% more pain. I had a similar small version of this of my own dilemma. In 2007, when I installed our first solar panels on our house, I got an offer to sell the renewable energy credits that it generates, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense. I've invested all this money into these solar panels. Why not get some extra cash out of it? And then I started looking into how the renewable energy credits work. And whoever ends up, well, first of all, most renewable energy credit systems are a scam. Be careful when you investigate them. They say they do such and such with whatever money. I didn't even want to participate in that, just even if I'm on the side that's making money instead of the side that's donating money. And then the other thing about it was, even if it wasn't a scam, I installed solar because I wanted clean energy. And yes, I would still be getting the same electrons that it generates, but I would effectively be giving the clean part of it to somebody else. And even if they're paying me for it, that defeats the whole purpose of why I installed them. So I decided not to do it. And for me, that was, not a whole lot of money. But here with Tesla, they're getting millions for it. So if I was being offered millions, I might have had a different opinion.
Yes.
Large amounts of money can do that.
Yes, exactly. You want to use my solar panels? They're all yours. Go ahead. Pay me enough, I can buy more. I'll do that.
Right. Well, then there's also the allegation for years that Tesla was under. Oh, you're only profitable because of the credits, and that's why that was always for so many quarters. You'd hear Elon or the finance guy or any number of other executives get up and say, this is a bonus. It's not only because of this that we did it. And there was literally one quarter where it made the difference between them making a profit, but it was one quarter. And then that narrative just continued on. This is the only reason they're making money.
But that narrative is easy to disprove because they're actually publishing the numbers. So it's.
But it was a feel good story. Like, look, I was right, and that's just the Tesla's a scam, and so they didn't want to hear or look at the real numbers. So it was harder to get it through the thick skull because what is it saying? It's hard to convince
motivated.
Somebody, if their salary depends on it.
Right. Exactly. It's hard to convince somebody. Yeah. So if you're if you're a Tesla Q analyst, you're going to find any way to flex things to make yourself look right.
Look at these wompy wheels. It's like 8 cushions in the same car.
With that, let's wrap it up. Patrick, any shout outs for the end?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels.
And Casey.
So you can catch us again. We take a little break. You can catch us on Sunday over at youtube.com/Casey Green for Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. Right about 1:10 Eastern, and it's like this. We discover we expand the topics a little bit, and we just go till I run out of air or topics or whatever, and then then catch us again on Monday for part 2 for edition 2 of the Tesla Life Express right here, and then on Wednesday. You can catch us for the Tesla Life Live again, right here, 7 Eastern.
Very good, very good. So thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't already, give us that thumbs up, press that subscribe, and follow us at our X feeds if you want to see what's happening during the week. And with that, we'll catch you next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla Life.